So for the first part, can you please explain a little bit about yourself for those who don't know who you are?
So, my name is Jacob Laval. I'm a professional actor. I'm 16 years old and I was recently in the movie called The Unbreakable Boy. It's currently in theaters. However, I've been in other projects too. When I was younger, I was in Drama Lady and the Sack Lunch Bunch and HBO's The Plot Against America. You can find the Sack Lunch Bunch on Netflix.
That's awesome. And so, what got you into acting when you were younger?
Well, when I was younger, I just honestly wanted a job. As weird as it sounds, I wanted a job. And then at one point, someone told my parents I could do like background work. And so I signed up for that. And then eventually I was like, this is cool, but I want to be in the spotlight more. And so that's what got me into doing like actual acting. And I've had a good time doing it, so I've just kept doing it.
That's awesome. Are your parents in the industry, or are you the first person in your family to be an actor?
They've like gone to acting school before, but they never actually did acting, so I'm the first professional.
That's awesome. And so, with Unbreakable Boy being your most recent project, what was the audition process like for this compared to other projects?
Well, it was actually a bit different because I auditioned for the Unbreakable Boy during the pandemic, and so while previously, like most of the roles that I had gotten had been like in person auditioning, this one was like a big self tape. So they gave me like four scenes of lines. I went through it. My acting coach came over, or yeah, I think she came over because it was like September, and she we did the audition and we had a good time doing it. And then after that, they had me do a Zoom callback with the director John Gunn, and then they brought in Zachary Levi, who said hi, and he said, "We think we're gonna try to get you to come down and do it with us." And so, yeah, that was a bit different too because usually they don't say to you, "We think you're the
Yeah.
one right there," but that time they did.
That's awesome. And so, what was the filming process like? Because this was during the pandemic, so I assume it was a little different than when it wasn't all.
Yes. Lots of COVID tests is the
Yeah.
first thing that comes to mind because obviously they wanted you to be safe. So we got COVID testing like every other day. And then
Oh,
one time I had a false positive COVID test. So they needed me to get tested four times in one day so that they could make sure it was a false positive, which it was. And also, like, there was always hand sanitizer somewhere. Like, it it was the hand sanitizer convention basically. If you're getting mic'd up, hand sanitizer. You just put on your wardrobe, hand sanitizer. The scenes where I high five people just off camera, there was a hand sanitizer person, or one of the COVID experts had hand sanitizer with them, and I would like run up to them, grab the hand sanitizer, and then go back to position one.
that's awesome. And so, being an actor, what are some of the lessons that you've learned from other professional actors?
Hmm. It's a tough question. When I was younger, I wasn't really looking for lessons as
Yeah.
much as I would now, probably. However, I'd say I just like I I learned like what basically the onset experience was like, I guess you could say, especially like starting with starting with background work and then moving up, like I observed like how everyone acted and I was like, okay, this is how to be professional and treat other people, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, being a professional actor, are there any like actors or actresses that you really hope to work with in the future, and why?
Hmm. Um, in the future, I guess, that's a good question. I've always liked Jim Carrey. He's one of my favorites because I like how he's really funny in his comedy movies, but he can also do well seriously. And so I feel like he would be like a very good person to play off of, I'd say. Um, I'm trying to think who else. That's the one that comes to mind first, definitely.
That's great. And so, what are some great pieces of advice that other actors have given you?
Hmm. I'd say I don't really remember getting much advice, I'd say. However, like I'd say definitely like don't give up, try to network as much as possible is what I hear the most, and that definitely helps out a lot because like acting is especially like a business where you're gonna get rejected a lot. And so hearing like don't give up is definitely an important lesson to remember. And then like I always hear from people like try to make as many connections as possible, which is definitely true. This is definitely a business where you should have as many friends, I'd say.
That's awesome. And so, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I'd say also definitely like try to improve your craft as much as possible. Like it is difficult with school, balancing school with acting, but try to like improve your craft as much as possible because that really taking lessons and learning more about how to analyze scenes, that's what makes you a better actor. And there's always room for improvement. Like even like after you book like a huge movie like The Unbreakable Boy, that doesn't mean you know everything there is to know.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, you were talking about school and stuff. And so, what was schooling like while filming The Unbreakable Boy, or even your past films and projects?
Well, it wasn't that difficult, thankfully, because Unbreakable Boy was during the pandemic, and so it was all on Zoom and Google Classroom anyways, so we didn't really have to worry about that. And then even with projects before that, like Sack Lunch Bunch, that was filmed during the summer, so we didn't have to worry about that. And then Plot Against America, that one, it was filmed like in New Jersey, and so like really, if I wasn't on set that day, I'd just be in school like normal.
Oh, so you're based in the New Jersey area then?
I'm based in New York, and
Oh,
then like
so not too
they
far away then.
like yeah, I'm in New York, and then they film it like in like northern New Jersey, like around Jersey City, I'd say.
That's awesome. And so, this follows a question from earlier, but what advice would you give to other people who would like to pursue acting as a career?
I'd say like especially don't give up. Definitely, that's the most important one. Like I said before, try to improve your craft as much as possible. Um, that's those are really the most important pieces of advice I'd say to people.
That's great. And so, the Unbreakable Boy has a lot of lessons. And so, what was there anything that playing Austin taught you?
Playing Austin taught me to like try to be as positive as possible. Like it's difficult, of course. Like I had to wait 4 years for the movie to come out. That was a bit frustrating.
So you filmed then like way in the pandemic.
Yeah, I filmed it during from November to December of 2020, and it came out this year, 2025, in
Yeah.
February. So we had to wait a while, and that was a bit frustrating. However, I tried as much to remember Austin's message of being positive, and that's what really got me through that.
So then you didn't get to see like any clips or anything of it.
I did get to
Oh,
see
you
the
did.
movie. Yeah, I saw it
Oh,
multiple
good.
times. I saw the first time I saw it was when we were filming. We after we finished filming, a couple months later, they had me go down to do the flying scene that we see. However, the day before we did that, they brought us all to like I think Zach's like place where he was filming Shazam 2, and we watched like the first like draft of the movie, I guess you could say, and that was a fun opportunity.
So since there are multiple drafts, is there a lot of differences in draft one compared to the final?
I think they changed around like some of the ways like the scenes were cut, like obviously putting in scenes, taking some out. Also, like they for the first draft of the movie, they needed me to do like I guess a draft of the voiceover parts, and
Yeah,
so they like brought like a microphone to my home, and then like I filmed it off the voice memos app. However, for the final draft, they needed it to be like a lot
professional.
more professional, so they
Yeah.
actually took us to a studio and in New York, and that's where we did the scenes. So the
So how
voiceover.
old were you when you were filming then?
I was 12. Now I'm
Oh, so that
16.
was a while ago then.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And so, is there a franchise, as an actor, this follows the actor question, but like, is there a franchise or a movie in the future that you would like to work on?
That's interesting. A franchise. There's probably a bunch that I could name right now. Um, Definitely like Stranger Things would have been fun to do, but now that seems to be winding down a bit. I think I auditioned for Stranger Things at one point,
Oh,
and I
really?
didn't get it, sadly. Yeah. Um, Let me think. Yeah, yeah, I got a call back for them. It would have been fun to be in the Wicked movies,
Yeah,
however. Yeah,
that's awesome. And so, do you have a favorite memory on set of The Unbreakable Boy?
probably the camping trip is always the one I think of first because that was like the field day for everyone. Like me, Zach, and Peter, and Drew, we all went out that day and we just did the camping activities while the cameras were rolling. It was a fun day. And then obviously we did the boat skiing, which was nice.
So then that day was just like a bunch of fun that you could like have fun while in character, and they were just like
Yeah,
hearing you have fun.
exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And so that actually wraps up the interview today. It was a quick little one, but thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.